Hello, and welcome back to The Picture Show. We are your hosts. My name is Bryn.
And I'm Noah, and, well, what are we here to do today, Bryn?
We have what I think is going to be a very fun episode to talk about, but I think that's because it's just a mutual interest in both of our filmography explorations. Namely, we're here to talk about one specific movie, but I think just to kind of start it off, we're going to talk about one of our mutually favorite directors, Wes Anderson. He's been putting out banger after banger over the years, and I just feel like it's time that we actually sit down and talk about some of the masterpieces that he's put out.
Do you remember what your first Wes Anderson was, Bryn?
It was Moonrise Kingdom, which to this day is still my favorite.
It's definitely among my top ones. I think I saw that for the first time when I was like maybe a junior in high school. And that's kind of when I was really starting my journey into the movies, and Wes Anderson was a big part of that for me.
It's still like a big comfort movie to me. Like if I'm having a bad day, that's what I put on. It's just so good. And I feel like you can say this for a lot of his stuff, but it's just timeless. Like a lot of his stuff is just, it never gets old.
Yeah, I really agree. I feel like whenever I'm struggling to think of something to watch, a Wes Anderson movie is pretty much always a safe bet, whether you're alone or with people. There's always, I think, fun to be had and things to notice that you didn't the first time. He just makes these really wonderful, stylish movies. I think he's maybe one of the preeminent stylists in American cinema, because there's not a lot of super stylish filmmaking happening here anymore, and I think he's so far down the stylistic spectrum that it bashes people over the head when they first see it, and it kind of makes him a real big love him or hate him type of figure. But on this podcast, we're firmly pro Wes Anderson.
I don't know how you could hate him. I don't know how you could hate anything he does, but I don't know. I feel like even for those of our audience members who are like, I have no idea who this is. Who are you talking about? If you were to see a clip from one of his movies, I bet you would recognize it, because he just is that distinct in his filmmaking style. Like there's just no mistaking. You could put on anything, not tell me anything about it, not tell me who it is, the title of it, nothing. If you put it on, I'm going to be able to tell if it's Wes Anderson or not. Like you can tell when he's had a hand in it. It's just that distinct.
Yeah, and that's what I love in an artist, that type of real unique distinction, and he's got it in spades. So we both really liked Moonrise Kingdom, so if you've never seen a Wes Anderson movie, that's probably a good place to start. Fabulous little romance between two young kids trying to figure it all out, and I would say also maybe like Fantastic Mr. Fox, one of the best animated movies of all time, I would say. It's kind of perfectly suited for his whole shtick.
And I mean, that's mutually high on both of our lists of his movies. And for me, Wes Anderson is probably one of the most, quotable. Every single movie that you watch of his has a just banger line to pull out of it. 10 out of 10. And Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think, is one that I quote probably more often than any of the other ones.
It's just different, you know? So definitely, if you've never checked him out, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Moonrise Kingdom, those have to be up there. But today we're here to talk about his most recent, The Phoenician Scheme, which I would probably assign this the label of for Wes Anderson sickos only. I think if you are one of those people familiar with him and you don't like him, this is not the one that is going to be changing your mind. But I think if you are someone that has enjoyed his movies, there's so much to love here, and there's a lot of things that are really different about it, while still remaining very obviously Wes. It's a really weird movie for him.
It is, but I also feel like he's kind of been working up to this point. I feel like Asteroid City was very much on the same playing field, almost. He kind of has developed a different momentum with his more recent things. I don't know if the French Dispatch is like this, but I feel like Asteroid City and now the Phoenician Scheme both have very fast-paced dialogue and just developed a different kind of momentum in his work, which I think has become more prominent over the last few years. And so, kind of like you were saying, I think if you're not super sold on Wes Anderson, this might not be the movie to get you into it. But if you do tend to enjoy his other stuff, if you really liked Asteroid City, which came out in 2023, I think you would absolutely love The Phoenician Scheme. It's brilliant.
It's a weird one, but it is brilliant.
Oh, good. But he definitely plays around with different things, different styles in this movie. Well, like you said, still remaining Wes, but like he just experiments with a couple different things that he doesn't typically utilize, and I thought it paid off really well.
I absolutely agree that he's in sort of an artistic space right now with this film and Asteroid City, and I would lump the French Dispatch into this sort of current era of his work. You know, I think with the Grand Budapest Hotel, we start to go down this line of being a little less grounded and things being a little more fantastical, even though his work has always had that sort of, you know, extra flair to it. It seems like we're moving away from like a more grounded like set of characters and ideas into these increasingly intricate, highly designed pictures where it's these incredible, immaculate sets and just an incredible amount of detail in every single frame, to the point where it's so dense you almost have to see the movie several times to, I think, fully pick up on everything that's happening. Whereas in his earlier movies, he's still got, you know, the stylistic way of shooting things, and everyone speaks in this really fun, matter-of-fact, clipped, quick way. And it just seems like he's getting to this point where the style is becoming so refined that it's like he's using that base as a springboard to go even farther into all these obsessions of his as an artist. It just feels like with the way he's ratcheted everything up, we've come to this area of work of his where he's starting to break out in small ways stylistically, and he's doing weird things he's never done before with the camera and the edits, and I'm really excited to see where it goes next, because I feel like the Phoenician Scheme isn't like the fullest expression of this artistic area he's in. Like, I feel like it's a clear stepping stone along this artistic path he's on, and I think it's maybe going to end up being something of like the key to this area of his work. He's doing so many things with the Phoenician Scheme on like a story level that you might miss because of how stylistic it is. One of the things that really stuck out to me with this one is how much he, as a filmmaker, is really feeling what the parent is feeling in this film, and less so like what the child is feeling. Like his sort of storytelling perspective has shifted as he's now become a father, and it's really fascinating to see that evolution along with the stylistic evolution. I think this is going to end up being one of the most fascinating films in his career.
I agree, 100%. No, it's really interesting to watch the evolution of his style, because, and this was around like Darjeeling era, he really started to develop this very whimsical aesthetic. A lot of bright colors, pastel colors, a lot of very kind of rigid defined angles, and the style of dialogue is all very whimsical. It's all very dreamlike. And he's started to toy with the idea of bringing more serious tones into his work. It's not that you never saw characters injured before or experience pain or violence, but it was always very small, very minimal acts. You didn't really see it on screen much. And the Phoenician Scheme essentially opens up with somebody being blown in half on a plane. He still keeps it very artistic and very, as whimsical as blowing somebody up can be.
It's
he still
such a funny
maintains
scene.
that. It's so good. It's so good, but he is kind of starting to steer towards using more serious tones and still kind of being able to play with exploring how to portray like acts of violence and harder topics. I mean, the main character in the Phoenician Scheme is by no means a good person. He talks about...
He's got to be the most reprehensible person in Wes's entire filmography.
He's
this
not
guy's
good.
bad.
He's justifying slavery. He's talking about introducing a famine. Like, he's not a good person. But if you're not paying attention to these details as they're being told, you could honestly miss that entirely and just still be caught up in the style of his filmmaking. So yeah, I agree. You definitely have to pay a lot closer attention to his newer stuff in the way of the topics and the tones that he's exploring are becoming more, I don't want to say more complex, but in a way, it is evolving. And so it's really interesting to kind of watch that grow, going from Moonrise Kingdom, which is pretty well contained in and of itself. It's pretty easy to follow.
Simple.
But with things like Asteroid City and now this, and kind of like you were talking about with the French Dispatch, like you have to put a lot more attention into it. But at the same time, you get a lot more out of it in the way of you notice the attention to detail, the extreme attention to detail. He does not miss a thing with his filmmaking. Every bit of it is so intentional. And I admire that so much.
Yeah. I think we've done a good job talking about the style and everything. This is a really hard movie to pin down from a story perspective. I think we can try a little bit to detail what happens in this movie, because it's almost... I mean, it's not really the point, because it's mostly about a father and a daughter, and this incredibly convoluted scheme is just sort of like a stage for that. But we're still going to try and decipher what the hell's going on in this movie. So, it starts out with an explosion on a plane, and we soon learn that our principal guy, one Anatole Jaja Korda, is constantly in danger of being assassinated. People are always trying to assassinate this guy because he's not really a good guy, right? So we meet him on this plane and very soon pick up with him in a cornfield where the plane has crashed. And the movie kind of goes on from there. He's starting to realize, I can't run from these assassins forever. So I'm going to go pick up my novitiate nun daughter and kind of train her up to take over this family business after I end up actually dying. And then he starts to detail to his daughter this titular Phoenician scheme. Where does it kind of go from there?
So at that point, he's kind of laying out in literal shoeboxes his next 150-year empire plan and the ways that he wants to achieve that. Well, in the middle of all of this, there's this separate scheme on the back end of everyone who's trying to end his career and his life and get revenge on this bad, not good dude. And part of that is the mass increase in price of this tiny little rivulet that is used in construction, and in that develops this big scheme on his end to cover the gap.
So basically what he's trying to do is he's trying to overhaul the infrastructure of Phoenicia, which is modern day Lebanon, Syria, on the coast of the northeastern Mediterranean there. So he's trying to do all this infrastructure stuff. What did the rivets have to do with it again?
So it was in this board meeting that's happening on how to... I don't know that it's directly said, but they're effectively talking about bringing him down. They talk about this one little rivulet thing that holds together all of the beams and all of the construction and everything they're doing. And so they jack up the price on that one piece. He was getting it in bulk for the longest time at this low price, and they've just infinitely increased the price on this one little bolt. And it is completely upending his financial security in this infrastructure overhaul.
I'm glad that you could remember that, because there's so much going on in this movie.
So much. There's so much. To watch it one time, you will not gather every plot point. I am already looking forward to going back and watching it, because I know there's so much that I missed.
So he's got all these investors, right? And they've all said they're going to contribute a certain percentage to help this project, and he's got a secret amount called the gap.
Well, and the gap is to cover the fee increase of this little tiny bolt. And so his whole plan is to get them to cover the gap.
So he doesn't have to pay anything.
Exactly.
So he's just basically trying to fuck his investors.
At each of these contract meetings, it's revealed that he has, quote unquote, fiddled with the contract in order to fudge his way into getting them to cover that back end percentage. And all of them call him on it. And they're like, I'm not paying this. And he's
so
like,
many good
yes,
shouting matches, and
so good.
There's sort of every meeting with every investor has sort of the same structure to it, but all the investors are so ridiculous and fun. You know, there's two brothers who challenge him to a basketball game, or I guess he challenges them to the basketball game, hoping that they'll cover an additional percentage. And that basketball game.
Meanwhile, him and the prince don't know how to play basketball.
The prince of all Phoenicia.
At all. And so they challenge them to this basketball game. And if they win, the investors have to cover the gap. It gets more and more ridiculous as it goes on. He takes a bullet for one of them. He ends up having a blood transfusion from another one. This
does not sound like a real movie at all. This does not sound real.
It almost didn't feel real watching it either.
Yeah, I've seen it twice and I'm still like trying to put things together. It's so convoluted, I almost think that's part of the point. It's so much fun to just get lost in the fussiness of it all. And I think if you get too worked up in the financial details, you're gonna miss the forest for the trees. But it's still a huge fun lampooning of high level business.
It almost feels like you're also getting scammed while you're watching it, like you're getting sucked into the scheme.
I kept trying to like put my hand on my wallet, like he's gonna. Yeah, it's just so fascinating. And then there's a part where like he's not getting everyone to cover as much of the budget as he wants, so he reaches out to like his second cousin, and he's gonna propose marriage to her because she's an heir of a huge part of their family fortune. I think it's really interesting thinking about how this family operates, that his second cousin is a white European settler at a utopian outpost in, the Levantine Middle East. Leading
up to that, he's talking about how he doesn't actually have residence anywhere. He doesn't have a passport. All of his different, registrations are all over the world, and he's like, I don't actually own anything anywhere, so nobody can tie me to anything, so nobody can arrest me. And then you get to her character, and it feels very much the same.
Things become very apparent, but in a way that's I think very subtle. That's kind of, it's not forcing itself on you, but you can kind of, if you're looking for those pieces, they're there and they're very easy to pick up. And shout out to Wes, because he really hits home how morally dubious these businesses and things can be. That's a very interesting part of the film. I do want to say the second cousin, Hilda, is played by Scarlett Johansson. Please stop asking Scarlett Johansson to do accents. I don't ever want to hear another accent out of Scarlett Johansson in my life. Please, God. I don't like her in that movie at all. I don't like her in this film. Oh my God.
Give this woman a break. Let her be American.
Yeah, that's a really weird little part of the movie. God, we haven't even barely touched half of what goes on in this movie. I don't know if we want to spoil everything.
Here's the thing, right? Is I feel like when you and I are talking about and recommending a movie for our audience to go watch, usually explaining the plot is enticing to do so.
Yeah, people want to know what happens.
I don't know that there's a way for us to accurately encapsulate everything that happens in that movie, or to accurately explain the plot in a cohesive manner. It's just something that you actually have to go watch for yourself, because there's so much to take in. It is a Goliath of a plot line to digest.
And that being said, the more that I've sat on it, I think the more I've grown to like it. You know, you kind of accept that you're not going to really understand all these crazy backroom dealings, and you start to pay attention to just the way Benicio del Toro talks as Zsa Zsa Corda, and the way he interacts with his novitiate nun daughter. And we haven't even mentioned that this film has Michael Cera's greatest work on film. He's probably like the third most important person in the film, and he is so good.
And he is the star. I have never loved him in anything more than this. The second his character came into the picture, I was seated. I was sat.
Every line reading is so funny because he's this Swedish entomologist that Zsa Zsa Corda hires to basically just be around should he want to learn about bugs. He's always reading about bugs. This guy loves his bugs. So he hires Michael Cera to just kind of go around with them and help out, and, you know, Professor Bjorn, and he's just so funny.
God, now that's an accent that I loved. That was a great accent.
I know, he's just kind of like, he's so sing-songy. You hang on his every word. Oh, and he starts to fall in love with the novitiate nun daughter, and it's just some of the funniest budding romance I've ever seen in my life. It's so funny.
Could you imagine falling in love with a man like me, hypothetically?
Is this an act? Is that a real question?
It's a real, genuine question.
When he orders like 2 beers for himself, and she's like, no, not for me. Oh yeah, I've never liked him more in a movie. I hope that he continues to work with Wes. I honestly just hope I see Bjorn in more movies. Just that character, I just loved him.
Fantastic. Honestly, if we have not convinced you to watch the movie yet for the movie itself, watch it for Michael Cera. You will not be disappointed. It's just...
He's worth the price of admission. He's the
gold.
heart and soul of the Phoenician Scheme.
Yeah. He might be the third most important character, but he is the character.
This is just going to end up being one of Wes's most interesting films, I think. At the end of his career, we're going to look back on his first movie with Michael Cera, and this weird time in his artistic life, just sort of this post Isle of Dogs, highly mannered dollhouse pictures. But yeah, man, Michael Cera is really the icing on a incredibly weird cake.
I mean, God, listen, he always has a stacked cast, but like the people in this, I mean, you have, obviously, you're always going to have Bill Murray, you're always going to have Willem Dafoe, but you've got Benedict Cumberbatch, you've got Bryan Cranston, you've got, I mean, Tom Hanks.
Riz Ahmed.
Yes.
Scarlett Johansson, unfortunately.
Jeffrey Wright, I mean...
Jeffrey Wright is so funny. People really make the most. You can tell actors love working with Wes Anderson because they will all take such small roles and make the most out of it. And it's super fun to see. Not a lot of directors can get that sort of talent for like 1 or 2 scenes, and it's just so funny.
No, I loved Bryan Cranston in the basketball scene.
He's a hooper for real.
He's hilarious.
Got handles like Kyrie. He's going crazy. Tom Hanks hyping him up.
Yeah, what a duo. Also, Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston together.
The Sacramento brothers.
Amazing.
Yeah. I really do think that the basketball scene is one of his best scenes ever. It might be my favorite part of the movie. It's so ridiculous, and that's intercut with Bjorn and the nun inside this like train, and because they're playing basketball in a tunnel. God, it's so hard to explain this freaking movie. So they're playing basketball in a tunnel, and there's a train that the hoop's attached to, and Michael Cera and the nun are in the train. And he's like upset that the prince has been flirting with her, and he's drinking beer, and what a time. That's my favorite part of the movie.
I think my favorite part, and I'm going to try to explain this scene without giving spoilers, but there's a scene with a second plane crash in the forest, and something about Michael Cera's character is revealed, and I was cackling. The strut. He turns around, his bow tie's all undone, and he just...
Yeah, that's one part that we can't we can't go into because it's so good. It's the best.
I'm not gonna ruin it.
It's one of the best reveals
It's just
I've ever seen.
It's my favorite part in the movie. Close second, though, the fight scene with Benedict Cumberbatch's character.
So when I was saying that he's doing weird things for him in terms of the edit and the camera work, that's kind of what comes most readily to mind is the way he shoots this really funny fight scene between these two half-brothers, and Benedict Cumberbatch just has the most ridiculous costume and makeup on, by the way, which really adds to it, but they're
like Albert Einstein hair and eyebrows, and he just looks ridiculous.
And they're like throwing giant vases at each other, and they're ripping the rugs out from under each other, and it's really cartoonish, and he does things with the camera that are so exciting and different for him that it just makes it so thrilling and fun to watch that it's absolutely worth the wait. If you haven't liked the movie up to that point, what a great fight.
And I don't want to spoil this either, so I won't name the character, but you have a character that blows up at the end and just the shoes are left.
Oh my god.
It's just the
That
shoes,
is a good
and
part.
I don't
That
know
is a
why
good part.
It got me. It got me.
It's such a ridiculous movie. It's so dense. It's so hard to pin down. I wasn't even sure how much I liked it the first time, but it's really sat well with me. I've continued to grow in my love for the movie. I don't know, man. I'm giving this one I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10, I think, but...
This movie was so good, you just changed up our rating scale.
Wait, what is do we do out of 5?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm gonna give this one like a solid 3.5 or 4 stars. Probably 4. We should do a different rating scale at the end of every episode.
Just make it crazier. Like 6 out of 8 ducks.
I'm gonna give this one a perfect 5 out of 7 Phoenicians. I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5 schemes. I'm gonna give this one 80%.
On the scale of schemes, this one ranks.
In terms of whether or not a cinematic experience is as one might describe to be in a way such as to be perhaps like favorable or in a way that one might consider like good, I would say that this particular film maybe does achieve what one might call to be
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and that is about as intelligible as the film itself. We got to cut all that out. That was painful. That's terrible. That's so bad. But honestly, if you haven't checked this one out and you are a fan of Wes Anderson, you got to do it.
You do. Listen, I think I had a different viewing experience than you because I loved this. I could not get enough. I cannot wait to watch it again. I'm going to make Cal watch it with me. This is going to be in rotation for a hot minute. It's so good. Right off the bat, want to give it 4.5.
Love it.
This is my favorite movie of the year so far.
I would have to agree that it's my favorite of the year.
The only reason I haven't given it a 5 yet is because it was tough to follow, but I honestly am not seeing that as a fault. So I don't know if that's enough to keep it from being 5 stars. I just think I need to watch it another time. Or
let it sit. More than
times.
any Wes Anderson movie, this one needs to sit, I think.
Gotta let it cook. Yeah.
Gotta let it cook.
He does like to cook. Zsa Zsa likes to cook.
Zsa Zsa does like to... that scene right at the very end. So lovely.
Did you
so
say
lovely.
yes? On a trial basis.
Everything's on a trial basis.
Amazing.
This really has some of, I think, his best dialogue. And, I don't know. I just keep going back to how insanely detailed almost every single frame is. There's maybe like a 30-second scene, and within that time frame, he forces Michael Cera to take a polygraph test. They are served cooked pigeons, and he says, I want that pigeon, so he just grabs it off Michael Cera's plate and changes
swaps
it.
them.
Yeah, and then they test his wine for poison, and it turns black, and none of it is like super specifically commented on. Like, you're not getting like an insert shot of the glass turning black or anything. It's just all in one frame, and it all happens really quickly. And
If you catch it, you catch it. If you don't, better luck next time. Like,
and that's really the whole movie.
it is. It is. I mean, there's a blip of a shot when they're in an airplane and there's a guy hanging upside down outside of the plane shooting. And if you don't see it, you miss it. But it's just the whole movie is like that.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. You can tell that he has just reached this point where he knows exactly what he wants to do with the movie. He knows exactly how to get it done. I mean, they filmed this movie in like 4 months, and like with what you see on the screen, I don't know how they... Like, he must have run a really tight ship, because there's so many locations, so many sets, so many actors, so much to get done, and I mean...
It's a full production.
He does a really good job with it. And this movie isn't even 2 hours long. It's not over long. It's maybe like an hour 40. It's a nice, quick movie.
It wraps it up quickly, which is interesting because I didn't pay attention to how long it was when I started it. And so when they bring up the first like cut screen of like showing all of the people that all of his investors that he's going to meet with, I was like,
just like almost halfway through.
I was like, this is a long fucking list. This is going to be a long movie because just the first investor scene, the basketball scene, takes a while to get through. And so I was sitting there, I was like, this is going to be a long ass movie. No, it zips right along.
Yeah, he uses that first meeting with the basketball and all that stuff to sort of establish the grammar of how these meetings will go. And each meeting is different but follows a certain structure, you know? They're gonna have a shouting match. They're gonna reach some sort of compromise for some reason. And there's so much fun to be had. I have no idea where Wes is gonna go after this one.
But I can't wait.
I'm wait.
So excited.
I mean, if he keeps up on the pace he's been going, we're gonna get one the year after next. And I'm ready. I'm ready to see.
Absolutely. I don't know. I think that I'm so excited because, I don't know, you and I have talked a lot about how hard it is to, like, stay with modern movies. Like, how hard it is to, like, stay enraptured in it. I think I'm so excited by, like, this and Asteroid City where, like, if you are not paying attention, you'll miss everything good about it. And so it kept me locked in the whole time. And for somebody with a short attention span, that's an achievement, you know? Every single one of his movies makes me excited for movies. And that's encouraging because these last couple of years have been dismal.
Yeah, a little light on the great stuff, at least in America. But I mean, Wes is just one of our bright spots. He's one of our premier artists, certainly of this century, maybe of our history as far as filmmaking goes.
Yeah.
He's just one of the all-time American greats. He's right up there with John Ford, Spike Lee, as Martin Scorsese, as far as I'm concerned. He's truly one of one. He's truly one of one.
Absolutely. I think if you can define a style for yourself that's that distinct, you've made it, you know?
Yeah. I would definitely say this is, for me, his 6th or 7th best movie. But
see, this is like number 3 or 4 for me. Like, this is up there. I have no notes.
I mean, there's almost not a bad movie in the bunch.
There's
almost not. There's some that I just never think about, but I wouldn't say they're bad.
Right.
I guess that's what I would say. But Phoenician Scheme, I've already thought about a ton, and I probably will continue to do so.
I don't know. I haven't been disappointed by anything of his, but there's also stuff that I just don't, like, immediately think to reach for.
Who cares about Live Aquatic? Not me.
I think it's whimsical. It falls in the whimsy category. It's fun.
I like the Brazilian singer, and I like Willem Dafoe. Anyways, you got anything more to say on the Phoenician Scheme? Any other little bits you wanted to hit on?
I'm sure I will after I watch it another 4 times, because it's just, there's going to be something new to pull every time.
You know, I'd say there's a good, 30% chance that at the end of this year we do an end of the year episode, and we'll probably talk about it if we do record that episode. You know, we run a notoriously tight ship around here.
We're on schedule. Whose schedule? You don't know. Neither do we, but somebody's.
Geologically speaking, we're releasing episodes at a breakneck pace, in terms of how long Earth has been here. We're really firing those out, baby. Well, it's July, Bryn. Every July, there's a certain movie releasing company that has a sale, and before we started recording, you told me that you made a little run to Barnes & Noble. Let's talk about that.
Listen.
I'm all ears.
It was an accident, okay? I went in there with a purpose. I went in there to get the next book in a series that I'm reading. I had a mission. I made the mistake of parking at the back entrance, and I walked in the door, and I was like, book, and I glanced over, Criterion sale, and I immediately cut the wheel. I hard left. And listen, it's not that I keep secrets from Cal, but I'm hoping that they don't watch this episode and don't pay too much attention to
the shelf.
The shelf. Because I didn't just pick up one movie, picked up 4. Because
Well, let's see it.
I have no self-control. Okay.
Show us the haul.
So, I got this because it's pretty, and I don't think I have a copy of it yet. But I got The Princess Bride, and it's in this pretty, gold storybook case.
That is really fun.
And it's just so, so pretty.
This reminds me, we didn't talk about this, but the second plane crash in the Phoenician Scheme, there's also a quicksand scene, which directly recalls The Princess Bride. I forgot about that until you pulled that up.
I was going to talk about it, but I was like, I don't want to keep giving more away in this movie, but I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it if it comes up, Okay, so there's that. On the Wes Anderson theme, I got Fantastic Mr. Fox, because why would I not?
All-timer. Look at that beautiful package.
I love the wallpaper on the inside. It's so cute. It's just so good. And there's the little book that comes. I love that they come with little books. Not all of them.
The little essays and stuff in there are always really fun to read. For me.
So good. Okay, and then I also have a copy of this already, but it's Scratch to Hell. So I got His Girl Friday.
Fantastic.
Which is one of my favorite Cary Grant movies. And then, last but certainly not least, we've talked about this in a previous episode, but how could you not talk about House?
House. Got my little House poster. And actually, thank God I actually have this right here. That's so funny.
Wow, what a coincidence.
I really think, I don't want to force us to do anything, but I think we got to talk about this one maybe for a little Halloween episode, and
I think we're going to.
I'll have to wear that with it. But,
I thought you were I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say, listen, I'm not trying to make us do anything, but I think this should be our friendship tattoo.
I don't hate that, actually. I don't
just
hate
doing
that.
the face.
Yeah, just that's kind of badass.
It's kind of cool. I kind of love it. But anyway.
So that was the 4? That was the 4?
Those were the 4.
But
if Cal asks, I've had them forever.
I specifically remember you having those for years.
Forever, right?
I also happened to visit a Barnes & Noble earlier this month and had to pick up a couple of things.
Had to.
Their new edition of Honora, which we've talked about here on the... Just like Miss Honora herself, but, we got this beautiful little package here. That's a really exciting one that I'm really excited to, I think, revisit Honora, hopefully with the commentary, see what they all have to say about it. I think that'll be fun. And then I got an old Guillermo del Toro classic, one of our other favorite directors here on the pod. This is a wonderful little movie. And then I picked up this classic, which I had only seen this movie for the first time recently. If you've never heard of Paper Moon, I highly, highly recommend it. It's about this sort of swindler in Depression era. I think they're in Kansas, and he ends up using money earmarked for this little girl, and he's agreed to transport her to her closest relatives in Missouri, I believe. But she overhears that he's used this money earmarked for her, and she demands her $200 back, and so they start scamming their way across the Midwest, and develop just this beautiful little relationship. So I highly, highly recommend Paper Moon. It's a totally brilliant classic, 1973, and if you can see those two actors there, that is the actual father-daughter combo of Ryan and Tatum O'Neal, and she actually ended up being the youngest Oscar winner for Best Actress for this film, and she is completely terrific. So I was really excited that they just recently released that, and I was able to pick that up. So those were my pickups from the little sale there. Look at us and our financial irresponsibility.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've had them forever.
Yeah. We're not like Zsa Zsa Corda. We know where all of our money's going.
Yeah, I just need somebody to cover the gap.
Yeah, it's just not me. Just not me.
It's just not me.
All right. Well, I guess thank you everyone for joining us for episode 9. I don't know. Thanks for joining us again. We'll
For
probably
another
back.
episode.
We'll probably be back at some point.
For our Halloween episode, inevitably.
Yeah, honestly, I think we just release these as like a little wellness check for everyone once in a while. Like, oh, yep, they're still alive.
There's evidence.
We're not doing much else these days.
Is anybody? We're all just surviving.
Yeah, well, I hope that we can all survive the coming authoritarian. Anyways.
And in the meantime, I hope that more good movies come out this year, because if I can't at least have good movies, I don't know what's left.
Yeah.
And on that note, thank you everybody so much for listening, watching, wherever you're hearing this on. Watch a good movie, tell your friends about it. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Peace.